Welcome back, everybody, to some more Minecraft. And a big welcome. It has been so long. I apologize for that, but life has been busy for many reasons. Yeah, I hope everything's been going well with all of you out there. Things are going well here, and I'm super excited to get back into some Minecraft. It's been a while. Quite a few changes that we'll have to go over today in this episode. But oh boy, since it's been so long since I've been able to make something for you guys, I thought today we'd do a very special episode. A very invigorating, exciting, super fun episode. I bet you can't guess what it's about. It's about trees, breaking trees, farming trees, actually. Minecraft is a game like surrounded. The whole thing is you go and you punch a tree. That's like the whole idea about it, right? And yeah, today I did some experiments with some tree farming and whatnot, and to actually get into it, we're gonna go over to a creative testing world. I'll catch you there real quick. Okay, so welcome back, everybody. We're here in the creative testing world. So this is where I do a lot of my planning and designing and testing. Why it's called testing. So, for example, this is like a prototype of our the big boom, the creeper farm that we built. Here is a design for the villager trading place that we have. Um, where are the? I heard villagers. Where are? I don't know why they're all in here. I don't remember that part of the villager trading hall. Anyways, yeah, so I've been doing a lot of trading with or testing with trees actually. Because as part of this series, as you may have forgotten in the last, 2 months since I've posted, is this idea of Minecraft mastery. I just kind of want to learn a lot more about how Minecraft works. And so, for example, I wanted to look at these trees. Now we need a tree farm in our world. We've kind of discussed that before, and there are a lot of amazing tree farm tutorials out there and designs, and all of them pretty much, since it's the best way, do the big giant trees. And you'll do like a couple of them around and drop TNT down and blow it up. And I wanted to try a couple different designs with just like the one by one tree growth. And so first, we need to kind of understand what is going on. How do these trees grow? So let's take a look at this. All right, so here I have a couple different rows of trees where I have grown them, and I've put a block above them at different heights to try and see where do we get uniform growth. And for the different species, they're at different heights. And so I've adjusted it up and down to see what happens. So for example, the oak here, if you put the blocks at this height, which is what, 4, 5, 6, 7 blocks high, every single tree you grow is going to grow 4 blocks tall. With the birch, it's one higher, and you get these 5 high. The spruce, it's the same as the birch, and then the jungle is actually the same as the oak. And then here I'm showing where I'm pretty sure I tested this with most of them. You can do higher than that limit, for example, and you'll get kind of this staggered. Some of them are going to be 4, some of them are going to be 5 tall, so on and so forth. The main reason this is important is because if we want to design around a TNT explosion, we kind of have to know how tall things are, and how many blocks there's going to be, and just the growth pattern of these. And especially if we're going to do a one by one tree farm, we don't want to have any of the super large trees that get branches and are very irregular, because that can mess with things. I haven't looked into these special type of trees like the pale oak. Is that it? I think pale oak. Pale oak. Yep. The acacia, the cherry blossom, the dark oak. We'll have to look into that in the future. But so then I took these and then I tried to find what is going to be the best design for a 1x1 tree farm? Right, so basically the basic idea here, and I apologize if I'm not explaining things too well, is that we want to grow trees and then drop some TNT down so that it explodes the wood, and then everything drops down where we can collect it. And if you notice, I'm doing everything on mud because if it works out, our collection system could be hoppers directly underneath the mud because it actually can pull through the block if it's mud. And there's a few other blocks like that, but this will be great for trees and whatnot. And so we have these, we get them grown. I guess we can get some bone meal. And yep, so we'd get all of them grown. Usually I'd just set the tick rate higher so that they'd grow really fast. And then what we do is we drop down a TNT. And the nice thing about these is that we can design it so that the grass, or sorry, the leaves will never interfere with this middle column, so that a TNT block can drop straight down. And for all of these tests, it's kind of built on the assumption that you have unlimited TNT. But yeah, watch this. Sometimes you have the potential of blowing up if there's a block here. It's not very often actually, but I did want to show that. That's why it's important to have mud so you can collect underneath. But yeah, all of this is kind of assuming you have a good supply, unlimited almost, of TNT, so that you can drop it as many as you need to break the blocks. Because I think all of these designs you need 2 blocks of TNT to get the full tree growth destroyed. But yeah, so then with that, so that's kind of how the test goes, is that we grow the tree, blow up the trees, and then what we're looking at is how much wood are you collecting, how many saplings do you get back, and other things like the sticks and the apples that you can also get from trees. The reason we're interested in that is because we want to know, is this a sustainable farm? Meaning, do I have to go out and manually get a bunch of saplings to then restart it, to regrow? Or will we be able to recycle? It'll sustain itself. And so that's what I did here, is with each of these different designs, where we have, less obstruction between them, more leaves available to grow, and just different configurations. I did 3 trials where I'd completely grow the trees, blow it up, and then collect all the drops and whatnot. And here are the results. Basically, so I have for each trial, I have what happened after the first TNT, or the first 2 TNTs, and then what happens after all the leaves despawn. So for example, if you wanted to run it back to back, like put in some bone meal mechanism there to make the trees grow really fast, would that work, or would you need to let the leaves despawn to get everything? And then, so I have those separate stats here, where I have how much wood did you collect, how many saplings, how many sticks, how many apples. And then I added those up to get this total on the top, and then I averaged those. And it's very important, each of these take a different amount of saplings to get running. So for example, here each run, I guess, takes 24 saplings. Now on average, we get back only 20 sapling. That's the second number there, or the sapling. We would say this is not a sustainable design for a tree farm. Now this is only 3 trials, so it's not super accurate, but I was getting lazy and I wanted to get this out. So yeah, so an average of 20, we got like 22, 17, 21. So never did we get 24 or more in these 3 trials. And then let's look at the others. So this was the 24. Here we dropped down to 12. So half, we broke every other block basically. And for this one, we got 16 and 2/3 saplings on average every time we did the trial. And so that's great. This is sustainable. However, for 2 TNT over there, we got 95 or 96, depending on how many blew up. Oh, Um, and so that's a lot of wood per TNT. Here we only get half of that per TNT, 48. And so let's look at the middle ground there. So we didn't take out every other block, but every two we took out a block here. And this, so it uses 16 saplings, 2 TNT, and on average we get 17 and 2/3. So right there on the cusp. So we got 17, 20, and 16. So right there on the border of being sustainable. So this is still sustainable. And we get 64. So that's a good balance. And this is probably the best design for these types of tree farms that we have here. And then over here we have just take out the corners. We get 20 saplings. And on average, we get back actually only 15 point and 2/3. And so this one I think was kind of interesting. We have this big outlier here. And since we only did 3 trials, so we got 20 and 17 and then 10. So that really skewed the results. So this one I would redo. However, the best one that we had was only barely at the same level as the same number of saplings. So yeah, so we get 80 out of this, but it's probably not a sustainable system. But if we get saplings from other sources, maybe this is the better design. Yeah, so I don't know if that kind of testing makes sense to you guys. I'm not the best at explaining what's going through my head, but yeah. So from this, if we want to do this kind of thing where we're growing one by one trees, maybe something like this is going to be the best design. This way we get the number of saplings that we use. This way we plant it on this outside ring so that it doesn't interfere with the TNT dropping. This way we also make sure the TNT isn't exploding any of the blocks here. That's why it's a block down, and we have the obsidian here. And so yeah, overall this is a pretty good design, I'd say. But we'd have to test it out for real to see if that's the case or not. But like we mentioned, there are other better ways to get wood. But if we want to get wood from like these kind of trees, which are one by one, that can be 2 by 2. This can be 2 by 2. But the birch and the oak, this might be a good design, something like this. Yeah, enough of that super exciting tree science stuff, am I right? Yeah, I'll probably do a little more testing just on the design of this guy and then implement it in our real survival world, just so we can kind of, apply things. It's probably not going to get used very much, but we'll see. It's nice to put in, things that you designed yourself, I guess. And I actually should have done, I wanted to kind of learn this myself. And so I could have done some research. I'm sure there are very optimized versions of what I'm doing here. But I'll have to look in that another time. Yeah, so then the question is, where do we put these tree farms? And I've hollowed out an area in our survival world that I'll show you shortly. And I wanted to do a special design. And I don't know if you've ever heard of the Lord of the Rings, maybe, a small little movie series. But I wanted to kind of do, if you remember the what is it? Speak, friend, and enter the door to the mines of Moria. Something kind of like that. And so that's this design here. So I've marked out in this orange the space that I've hollowed out. And then I've built a little design here of what that might look like. We have just an arch basically, and some kind of tree or plant or something going on. And so yeah, I don't know. This design, and I'll show you where it goes in the survival world in just a bit. But I did want to get your guys' input about the design here, especially the color. Like originally I was just gonna do it all white, but I was like that it doesn't, wrap around very well. You can't see that if it's white. Maybe a different color of white, like andesite maybe. But then I tried the green, and I kind of like that. It gives a little color to it. Because yeah, I'll probably have some kind of textured black uh, deep slate background. And then yeah, this white concrete. Um, and I don't have sea lanterns yet, but I think I will use them eventually. I like the way they look. I like the light that they give off. It's very nice. Yeah, let me know your input down in the comments about this kind of design. And then the sides, so I'll have 4 walls, right? Should I have this duplicated on all of them? Should I have an arch? Should I have just columns on this one, arch on this one, columns on this one, that kind of thing? Should I have, a tree, a cactus, a flower in the middle? What are you guys' thoughts? Let me know down in the comments. Yeah, now let's show you in this survival world where this tree farm wall will go. Okay, so right down in here, this is where I'm gonna have kind of our tree farm, and we already kind of talked about um, the location of why we're putting it here and whatnot. And I might need to go a little deeper. I didn't actually count out the height of the design I just showed you. Yeah, the idea would be, we have the arch and the tree here, and on the 4 walls, kind of a similar pattern. And this actually cuts right into the big hole that we have over here. Let me show you. Oh, I need to light it up still. These don't, these cute little baby creatures now. In the update, they're just adorable. Anyways, yeah, so our creeper farm is right over there. Let's actually take a look at it. Right there. Here's that big hole. And then, yeah, we cut into the tree farm right here. So that's actually awesome. We can, make this place nice and make a connector tunnel to there. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, this is that space. So let me know what you think about the design, if you like that or not, and any comments, and then I'll get working on that off camera. Oh no, another cute baby. But yeah, guys, that was the main thing I wanted to talk to you about today. I just wanted to get a quick episode out and get your input about the tree farm, because we want to get that done. We want to get some production, some farming going, and we need to yeah, really get some infrastructure up and running. But yeah, other than that, the rest of this episode, I just want to update you on some changes that we've made. Um, Another thing on top of the tree farm that we desperately need is a storage room. And kind of thinking of our settling storyline that we've come here, and we're trying to settle down, make a new colony, I guess, a city, a civilization. Um, what would, real life settlers do for storage? Probably more often than not, each individual family kind of keeps their stuff together in their home, in their own plot of land. But for like a community, they usually have like some kind of, maybe like a town center, or this big building like a stronghold where they keep their items. And so that's what I'm going to kind of go for, kind of like a Viking style building maybe, for an initial storage room or system. And I'm going to build it up here on top. I think this is going to be kind of the center of where we bridge out in the future for other projects and whatnot. And we have our underground stuff over there. This is kind of our main base here. So this is a good center place. We're going to expand up into the mountains. There's a nice place that way. Yeah, and so on. And so we want to build on top. The problem is we already have, so we're going to expand downward for storage. We already have this kind of village hall underneath. And so this plot here with the 2 lines dividing it, this is the borders of the hall underneath. And so I thought, okay, let's try out these other 2, see what that looks like. And then, they're kind of nice. We need to terraform a little bit over here and over here. But I'm thinking we'll probably do like an H type building where we'll have a long building this way, a short inside, and then a long building this way. And that'll be kind of our town center. You get the vision. Yeah, let me know, and it'll be nice, H for GreenHonda. I think it'll be a nice in between, and we can go underneath to make a connector actually to the village hall. With that, I would actually show there's an update I have. Uh, made just a little bit longer the village hall. So this is what we're looking at. I don't actually know how many stations there is. There are, but there are quite a few. And I'll probably section them off with colors to indicate, you know, villagers, with librarian job over here, with blacksmith over here, with different colors and whatnot. But yeah, so that's what that looks like. And another big thing is before I did all of that, I went and got a second beacon. So I put that just 100 blocks away from the other one to get good coverage. So that's right there, and I just went all the way down to bedrock with it. The last thing I guess we'll show, and let's dive down underneath in here. Oh yeah, I actually had a bunch of issues. There were creepers actually exploding in here. And I'm getting like bones occasionally in our farm. And so I don't know, I lit up everything up there pretty well. I erased any pathways that a skeleton might have climbed into here, but I really don't know how that happened. But yeah, we had a few creeper holes not too long ago that I had to patch up. Yeah, and you know, this isn't like we talked about the most optimal design, so we might scrap it in the future anyways. But it's doing okay for now. Yeah, the last thing I'll show down here, so this is where our spider farms are that I showed a while back. This is where the creepers fall down. They're doing okay. We're getting some squid ink. The middle chests don't really get anything, but yeah, it's doing all right. Man, that slime really scared me. But yeah, the only other thing is I cleared out a lot of area. Basically a 50 by 50 square here around the beacon. So we can start putting other farms in here so we can kind of be more efficient with getting the creeper farm going, being in range of that while also doing other things. And yeah, we have a lot more. Like we have a spider spawner here. We have 2 spider spawners, maybe 3, I think, actually, over there. And then I think the next thing I'm going to develop down here, maybe, we have this crystal here. And one day I went over and I looked down and there were like 100 zombies down here. Not actually 100. They're like, you know, 6. But that's a lot. And I went down and I killed them all. There's a zombie spawner right here that the crystal like grew into and destroyed. The building too, that is. But yeah, that was pretty cool. So we want to make that. I don't know if we'll actually use the zombie spawner, but maybe. And then on top of that, let's see, we have a spider spawner right there. We could make a zombie spider joint farm. Can I climb it? Yeah. Yeah. Uh, that is pretty much it, guys. I tried to run through the updates very quickly, but I wanted to get this out, this episode, and get your input about both the design for the storage system as well as the tree farm and what you thought about that. But if I don't hear back from you guys down in the comments, I'll probably just go with what I showed you and get going on that. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and we will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.